Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video, I wanted to go over pretty much my training method of what I do to maximize my resting and my training and balance it out with pretty much going to work throughout Monday through Friday. So for me, I actually train starting Wednesday through Sunday. My rest periods are Monday and Tuesday, and I'll explain why. For Wednesdays, I start off with back and biceps. And then Thursdays, I train chest, triceps, and shoulders. Now, you can switch those two around if you want. The reason why I have back and biceps set up first is because I have elbow tendonitis, and it affects my workouts when I'm trying to train my biceps and when I'm trying to train on pull-ups too. So when I do my back exercises, I don't have any problem with any kind of rowing movement, like lat pull downs or just back rows when you're trying to pull the bar to your chest. It only happens when I'm trying to do assist pull-ups. My goal ultimately is to be able to do pull-ups as one of my big exercises to train my back. So it's something that I'm having to struggle and deal with. So that's why I have back and biceps for the beginning of the week. And once that's usually over with, then the next day I'll move to my chest, triceps, and shoulders. So again, you can have that switched however you want. It really doesn't matter. Just for me, I have that pain. Chest and triceps, usually that day's pretty easy. I don't have any issues with training any of those muscle groups except for my left tricep, which is the same side of where I get my elbow tendonitis. I've been able to do some exercises that honestly have shifted my muscle activation on my left tricep. So I don't really struggle with any kind of pain. It's just being able to hold that muscle and actually use it when I'm trying to do tricep pull downs. I used to struggle with that a lot, but I've been able to just find exercises that work for me, like the assist pull-up, the assist dip. I find that to be a very effective exercise when I'm trying to activate my chest, my shoulders, and most of all, both of my triceps. With that exercise, I actually like to go to failure. I feel pretty comfortable and safe going to failure. I do use the assist. I'm not doing raw weight. I usually don't remove the weight up towards the end. I can do dips without the assist, but I do like to start off my exercises warming up with just using the assist and having some weight go up against me. So with my chest, again, I don't really have too much issues struggling with getting my muscles going, except with the exception of my left tricep. But again, with the assist pull-up, that's honestly helped me just overcome that struggle. So then after that, I like to save legs for Friday. And the reason why I like to save legs for Friday is because it's one of the muscle groups that takes the longest for my recovery time. When I train for Friday, usually it's the same thing for every Wednesdays and Thursdays. I go to the gym right after work. So I start my routine. I always stretch. I always like to make sure that my legs are nice and flexible. My hips are open. I like to squat. I like to begin with the barbell squatting. I do train low volume and heavier weight. I found that to be the most effective for me to be able to tear up my muscle fibers. So I usually, after I've opened up my hip flexors and I warmed up my legs and my body's feeling warm, then I'll start with the barbell, then I'll load it up, and then I'll pretty much keep pushing the weight until I'm reaching my max of what I can squat. And then from there, once I usually hit, I would say it's 90% of what I can squat. I don't usually go to 100% of the weight that I can normally squat. I only do that for every other Fridays or sometimes the end of the week, the end of the month. I'll start loading up the weight a little bit more and then have one session where I am training a lot, where I'm loading up a lot more weight just so that I can increase my strength in my squats and just go up in weight. I'm not training for any competition, but I do like to squat heavy. It's really fun. There's a lot of reward to it mentally, so that's usually why I do it. It's really fun. I love squatting with the barbell. It's just it's the most effective when tearing up my muscle fibers and overall strength too. After legs squatting, then I'll move on to the machines and just isolate my muscles, making sure that I'm going slow on the eccentric and the concentric. I do that with all the other exercises too, with like back, chest, but not so much on my biceps because again, I have the elbow tendonitis, but I work with what I can. Usually after legs Friday, I like to save it for Friday, and not because it's the end of the week, and then because I know not everybody has the weekends off, but I have the weekends off. So I move it to Friday because I get to sleep in and sleep as much as I can Friday nights and Saturday nights, leaving me to be able to recover from all my other training sessions from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I like to sleep in, make sure I'm getting as much as protein as I can. Usually if I don't have time to cook, which normally I do try to prep and make sure I have protein ready. That's why it makes it easier for me to have Mondays and Tuesdays off, is that once I get home from work, I'm able to just meal prep. But if not, then I'll literally just go and buy 2 rotisserie chickens. They're really helpful. They come in clutch. And you just get that protein versus always having to resort to protein shakes kind of thing. I like to be able to actually eat meat for recovery. Then I move on to the weekends, which you still want to be able to enjoy your weekends, but at the same time, training on the weekends is pretty awesome because the gyms are a little bit less packed. There's not that many people that train on the weekends. So that's why sometimes I do alternate my days. Usually Saturdays and Sundays are like the days where I'll train and hit like muscle groups that need a little bit more attention and may have not been targeted as well throughout the work week. But Saturdays, I do like to use them for my heavy core days and for like my rear delta isolation, because I do train my shoulders, but primarily I'm training the front shoulders and the side shoulders. I do want to hit the rear delts, so that's why I do have a specific day for that, which is usually Saturdays. And I have to do the Stairmaster on level 2. And the reason why is because the day before that I train the legs, you can really get that mind muscle control every step that you're taking when you're going up the stairs. Yeah, I feel like it really helps just understand what muscle group may have not been trained as much as you wanted to on Friday. Usually after that, the next day, or even the same day, because I'll switch them around. Saturdays and Sundays, I'll switch them around depending on how my body feels. I'll train whichever muscle groups. I posted up here just an idea of, usually these are the main muscle groups that like I end up having a little bit more, that will usually end up needing a little bit more attention. But it all really depends on how you want to switch it up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Not every exercise I push into failure. I usually like to do the exercises where I feel the most safe underneath the weight to push into failure. Save bench pressing. I don't do flatbed bench press. I haven't done it in several years. I did do it a little bit for the first year, but then I just stopped. I switched into just only doing incline bench press. And for like incline bench press, I don't like to push into failure. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I think there's just too much of a high risk possibility. So I do just keep that with strength, like the same way I do with my barbells. And then leg presses, that's another exercise that I feel a lot more comfortable going into failure, because if I just can't push that last rep anymore, it's fine. I'm in a position where I can lock the weight and then just remove myself from the machine. But not every exercise you need to go into failure, but you should be pushing at least one exercise for every muscle group that you want to be going to failure. You need to train harder than last time. It's really important so that you can actually see your body grow. Once I started training to failure, it really does shift your mind and your body responds to it. And not just that, you can actually start limiting the amount of exercises that you use. So instead of having to do 4-5 different chest workouts, you can honestly cut it down to 2 or 3 different chest workouts. Because for me, I like to do my chest, do dips. Every set goes into failure. I'll take a rest about 2 minutes. I used to do about 3-minute rests for every set, but I wouldn't push into failure. And I would have muscle growth, but I've been training for 4 years. I'm pretty sure I could have been a lot bigger. I look like I've only been training for about 1 year. It can be a little bit frustrating, but I do think if you're going to push into failure, you want to be underweight. You want to be in a machine where the weight you're underneath is not going to smash down and hurt. You want to be able to be in a safe position. So I'll do like a separate video of the exercises that I like to use and the reason why I use them, mainly because they require less mind muscle control and your body just kind of end up connecting a little bit easier versus trying to make sure you're always trying to get that perfect weight where you feel your muscles are finally kicking in kind of thing. But on a separate video, I'll make that demonstration so that you guys can see what I like to do throughout those days of my training sessions. But overall, this is my method. This is the reason why I train this way. I want to be able to make sure I recover. So I want to get the most sleep and the most protein. And that's why I start from Wednesday to Sunday. And usually the weekends are a little bit lighter loads. And you're not struggling or having to wrestle with other people and use other machines. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions, any thoughts, you guys want to give me any kind of advice or tips that maybe I can do something better to be able to organize my routine, you can let me know. Go ahead and comment below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for stopping by.